Hi guys, I hope you are doing good, and guys, welcome back to our channel. Before we begin with anything else, I hope that all of you are safe and sound wherever you are, and most importantly healthy. So guys, today's topic is bit off topic, and I know I am long overdue in making this particular video. This video was supposed to be done by me long time when I recently arrived in Canada, but for some of the other reasons it kept on getting delayed. But today is the time when I'm making this particular video. So guys, the topic of this video is most important things that you need to do after you land in Canada. So guys, without further ado, let's directly jump into this topic. But before we do that, let me tell you that I have made some assumptions while making this video. The first assumption is that this video is independent of the current COVID situation. I mean, just assume that currently there is no COVID, no lockdown, nothing, and everything is as it used to be like before, and view this topic with that frame of mind. And the second assumption is that you have already taken care of your initial accommodation. So basically, I am assuming that when you will be landing here in Canada, you will have made arrangements in Airbnb, or maybe you are staying with your friends or relatives for the initial accommodation. So for the context of this topic, let's remove the initial accommodation part out of it. And now guys, let's jump into it straight away. So guys, the first point is about obtaining your SIN number. Guys, I cannot stress enough that how much important SIN number is for any person coming to Canada. So guys, consider that without SIN number, you do not have an identity in Canada. It is that important. So it is your responsibility that you must obtain your SIN number. And I would highly recommend anyone who is incoming to Canada that they obtain their SIN number from the airport itself. I understand that it is completely optional and you have come a long flight and you are probably jet lagged, tired. But guys, trust me, if it is possible for you and your family to obtain SIN number from the airport itself, there is nothing like it. Because once your SIN number is done, there are a lot of things that you can do easily, and you are saving your one journey to Service Canada once you step out of the airport. But guys, it is completely optional. If you are too tired, too jet lagged, you might even opt to not take the SIN number from airport, but after a couple of days you might have a trip to your nearest Service Canada location in order to activate your to get your SIN number basically. So guys, the reason that I'm stressing on getting your SIN number from airport itself is because number one, there is not a lot of documents that you need to carry in order to get your SIN number. All you need is basically your passport and your COPR document, and you are good enough to get a SIN number. And guys, number two is eventually you will be needing a Canadian number, right? You will be needing a Canadian phone number, a SIM card. And in order to get a SIM card, one of the documents is you must have your SIN number with you. And the moment you have your SIN number at the airport itself, you can get a prepaid card from the airport itself for 1 month. So guys, this is a very debatable topic, because there are many people who are in favor of prepaid numbers, and many people who would be in favor of postpaid numbers. But what I would suggest is get a prepaid number for now, because most of the cellular network providers, when they give you a postpaid connection, they will verify your SIN number, your credit history, they'll verify your background in Canada, and guys, lot of other details, because it's a long-term association. A postpaid number is a long-term association basically. So to avoid all these hassles, all you have is a SIN number, and you can opt for a 1 month prepaid number. Guys, this is essentially important because most of the interviews in Canada would be conducted by phone. So basically the first round of interview would be conducted by phone, and if you have a SIN number with you, you can obtain a prepaid SIM card from the airport itself. So guys, it really does not matter which provider you choose, Rogers, Fido, Bell, or any other operator. All you have to look is for the one which is giving you cheapest rate and a little bit of higher data. So at least 3 gigs or 4 GB of data is good enough for you for the initial first month. Now guys, there are many people who would argue that why do you even need 2 GB, 3 GB, 4 GB data when you have access to high-speed internet in almost all the public places, malls, libraries, etc. Guys, let me tell you my experience. When I landed here in Canada, on day 1 itself, I had got prepaid SIM card from Chatter for $35, and they were giving me 2 GB of data for 1 month. So guys, when you have access to high-speed internet, 2 GB of data looks more than enough for your requirements. But guys, trust me, I used lot of free Wi-Fi only, but this 2 GB of data on my cell phone actually helped me when I was roaming around in downtown Toronto giving interviews. So basically I could access internet and could at least use Google Maps in real time when you are on transit and when you are moving from one place to another. So guys, assume that you want to reach somewhere in another 30 minutes time. Would you search a mall to go and check your Wi-Fi and check the directions, or just directly go to that direction? Because here in Canada there are not many people whom you can go and ask for directions. It is always wise enough to have little bit of data on your phone so that you can at least traverse your way along whenever you are outside. So guys, with your SIN number and your Canadian phone number all sorted out, now you might want to focus on opening a bank account in Canada and transferring all the funds that you got from your home country into the Canadian banking system. So guys, I would request you all to please stick to one of the top 5 banks in Canada only. They are TD Bank, RBC, Scotiabank, Bank of Montreal and CIBC. So guys, each of these banks would have some or the other kind of newcomer initiative and programs going on. I would request you all to visit each of these banks, try to understand their programs and initiatives and choose the one which suits your needs well. So guys, don't rush and open the bank account in the first bank that you enter into. Take your time to explore the market, look around for different initiatives and choose only after giving thorough thought about all other products in the market. So guys, one thing that I would like to suggest you is that go with that bank which offers you credit card from day one. There are not many banks which offer credit card on day one, but if at all any bank is offering you credit card from day one, go with them. It doesn't matter whether your credit limit is $500 or $1,000. Just take the credit card if they are offering one and start using it, because it will eventually help you build up your credit history. So don't be too choosy about the credit amount, the credit limit that they are giving you. Even $500 is good enough to start building your credit history in Canada. Now coming to the next important part, which is known as health insurance. As we all know that each province has their own health insurance scheme. However, in the context of this video, let's restrict ourselves only to Ontario province. And in Ontario, the health insurance is known as OHIP. But guys, one thing to note here is that OHIP kicks in only after 3 months of you staying in Ontario. So which means from the day you land until you complete 3 months, you are not covered under OHIP. So if you need to visit any doctor or undergo any kind of treatment, it will all come from your own pocket, which could be even expensive. So a single visit to a doctor, a general practitioner, could land you anywhere between 70 to 100 Canadian dollars. So it's that expensive. So what I would suggest is try and get insurance for the initial 3 months of your stay in Canada from your home country itself. So guys, now coming to probably the most important point, and that is known as benefits. So guys, there are certain benefits which are given to eligible individuals either by the provincial government or the federal government. These benefits include the Canada Child Benefit. If you reside in Ontario, then there is something called as Ontario Trillium Benefits, and there are some kind of GST, HST rebate given to eligible individuals, and depending on which province you reside, you may be eligible for additional provincial benefits also. So I request you all to visit the nearest newcomer center or the newcomer settlement agency and try to find out what all things are you eligible for and try to apply for those benefits. So my dear friends, I have already made a video on Canada Child Benefits, the link of which will be given in the description below, or it would be available somewhere on the top. But guys, let me tell you that whatever benefits you apply is a benefit and it is not an undue privilege which you can take advantage of. So guys, I request you all to please be honest in your approach, and all the information that you give is truthful in nature, and you are using the benefits only if you deserve it. So please don't take any kind of advantage of it. So guys, till now you have completed your initial 7 to 10 days in Canada, and I'm sure that you must have at least some idea about how the transportation system here in Canada works. So guys, in the context of this video, let's again stick only to GTA, and let me tell you that in GTA there is something called as the Presto card. I will make a complete video on how to use a Presto card, how to load a Presto card, where to get a Presto card from. But in short, let me tell you that Presto card is a way in which you can purchase your tickets on the go and you need not give cash. Presto is in fact cheaper than cash. And guys, in all the buses and everything, there is no conductor like the way it used to be in India, whom we used to give money and we used to get the tickets. So guys, there is if you have to give cash, it has to be exact cash. They won't be giving you any kind of change back, or you can directly tap the exact amount on a Presto device. So guys, this is very easy to use, very easy to load, and guys, this is making real sense because it is cheaper than cash. So you save a lot of money on this as well. So I'll make a separate video on all of this. But yes guys, the point that I want to make is try to figure out the transportation in the area that you live by. So guys, with everything else set up, now let's focus on the job search part of it. Guys, before you begin your job search, I would request you all that if you're coming to Ontario, then definitely register yourself for PrepCan's post-arrival services, in which they will be mentoring you in order to tailor make your resume as per Canadian standards. And also they will be helping you with basically all the do's and don'ts in the Canadian job search and other things. So I have shared all of my experiences in my job search experience video, the link of which again will be given in the description box, or it would be available somewhere on the top. So guys, now is the time probably when your Airbnb term has ended, or you are thinking of moving from your friends or relatives place to a long-term accommodation. So guys, when you choose a long-term accommodation, I would suggest you all to please take a look at the neighborhood, take a look at the traveling involved from the place you stay till your office, take a look at all the options as far as the rent is concerned. So guys, with this I end this particular video. I hope you all liked the contents of it, and I hope that it all made sense to you. With this, I also request you all to please like, comment and subscribe to our channel, and definitely don't hesitate to share this video with all your friends, family, relatives and all those people who are coming to Canada. So guys, goodbye, take care and stay safe. Bye.